Do people born under Pisces really carry secret gifts that can help others, sometimes without even realizing it? Discover the 5 powerful gifts hidden in Pisces that can transform lives, including their own. There are people who walk through the world as if they don't fully belong to it. They carry a soft gaze, an almost surreal intuition, and an emotional depth that seems to stretch far beyond the boundaries of everyday life. These people often appear distracted, lost in thought, or absorbed in a universe that no one else seems to perceive. But what if I told you that what looks like distraction is in fact connection? That what appears to be emotional vulnerability is actually a portal to something much greater? Yes, we're talking about Pisces. In this video, you'll discover 5 mysterious and powerful gifts that Pisces carries within. Gifts that often manifest without them even realizing it. Gifts that can heal, protect, inspire, and elevate everyone around them. And if you're a Pisces, get ready to recognize powers within you that you might have doubted or never even noticed. Because Pisces doesn't walk through this world for nothing. Every movement, every silence, every dream they share has the potential to transform the life of someone else. And in the next few minutes, you'll understand why. Now breathe deeply, because the first hidden gift will take you into the Pisces soul in a way you've never experienced before. First powerful gift, Pisces absorbs pain from others without realizing it and transmutes it. If you've ever felt strangely comforted around someone, as if your emotional burden became lighter just by talking to them, chances are that person was a Pisces. And if you are a Pisces, you may have experienced this exact scene many times in your life, without understanding why people open up to you so quickly, or why they seem to feel better after being with you, even if you didn't say much. This is no coincidence. Pisces has one of the most powerful but least understood spiritual abilities in the zodiac, emotional transmutation. They don't just understand emotions, they absorb them. Consciously or not, Pisces becomes a kind of emotional sponge for their surroundings. If someone is sad, Pisces feels it. If someone is anxious, Pisces might suddenly feel their heart race too. And most incredibly of all, Pisces often ends up taking that pain into themselves and silently turning it into something lighter, more manageable, more bearable. This process isn't learned, it's instinctive, it's almost mystical. Pisces can enter someone's emotional frequency without needing to talk, analyze, or question. They feel, they vibrate in tune. And through this invisible connection, they begin the alchemical process of healing, without even trying to. But here's the challenge. Many Pisces don't know they're doing this, so they end up feeling exhausted, drained, or emotionally overwhelmed without understanding why. They might think they're too sensitive, or that there's something wrong with them, when in fact, what's happening is extraordinary. They're carrying emotional loads that are not theirs. They're cleansing invisible energies from people and environments. They are, in every sense of the word, emotional healers, natural and spontaneous. This gift is so powerful that many therapists, spiritual leaders, and artists have strong Pisces placements in their chart. Because this sign was born with the ability to navigate emotional complexity without judgment. Pisces doesn't need explanations, they need authenticity. And when someone opens up to them, no matter how painful the truth may be, Pisces welcomes that vulnerability like an ancient priest receiving a confession, with care, with silence, with love. The pain doesn't scare them. The suffering doesn't repel them. On the contrary, they are drawn to it. Not out of morbid curiosity, but because something inside them knows, I can help. I can lighten this. And they do, even if they don't realize it. Even if they walk away from a conversation thinking they just listened or didn't do much, the energetic shift has already occurred. Pisces left a part of their light in that interaction and took part of the darkness with them. This invisible exchange is what makes their presence so comforting, so healing, so rare, and often so exhausting. Because, let's be honest, absorbing the pain of the world is not easy. But Pisces was born with the soul of someone who has lived many lives. Their compassion is not learned, it's ancient. Their empathy doesn't come from books, it comes from the soul. So if you are a Pisces and have felt overwhelmed by emotions that seemed too big to be yours, now you know. You were probably carrying something that didn't belong to you, but that you were able to transmute. And if you know a Pisces, look again. That person who seems fragile, dreamy or lost, may actually be a silent healer. Someone who, just by being present, makes the world a little lighter for everyone else. And the next gift we'll explore is just as powerful, and perhaps even more surprising, because Pisces, contrary to what many believe, doesn't just feel. He sees. He sees what no one else sees. Second powerful gift, Pisces sees what others ignore, and often foresees what hasn't happened yet. There is a look in Pisces that unsettles some and hypnotizes others. A gaze that seems to be navigating both this world and another. People might joke and say Pisces is always in the clouds, but those clouds hide something serious, something profound. Because while others are grounded in logic, in what's visible, in what's measurable, Pisces sees what lies beyond. Pisces has a kind of emotional X-ray. They perceive invisible truths. They sense lies not through rational analysis, but through energetic incoherence. They know when someone is not being authentic. They feel when an environment is heavy. They sense what's not being said, even when no one else notices anything out of the ordinary. This ability goes far beyond intuition. It's a kind of extrasensory perception that Pisces carries without needing to be taught. It's ancestral, it's spiritual, and sometimes it's scary, both for them and for those around them. Because when Pisces looks at someone, it's not just the person's face they see, it's their story, their pain, their soul. There are moments when a Pisces will say something that seems completely out of context. You're not happy, are you? You've been thinking about leaving your job. That friend of yours, there's something strange there. These phrases, thrown into the air as if casually, often reveal truths that the person hasn't admitted even to themselves. And the most curious thing? Pisces didn't think about it. They felt it. They knew. This gift is often misunderstood. People may accuse Pisces of being paranoid, too emotional, or dramatic. But the truth is the opposite. Pisces is one of the few signs that operates beyond emotion. They access something deeper, something that comes from silence, from stillness, from the connection they have with what is invisible. It's not uncommon for Pisces to have prophetic dreams, to sense that someone is about to call, and they do, to feel that something is going to happen, and then it happens. They may not always talk about it. In fact, many Pisces learn to keep quiet about these perceptions, especially if they've been ridiculed or dismissed in the past. But they continue to feel, to see, to know. This sensitivity is a gift, but it's also a responsibility. Because seeing too much can be overwhelming, especially in a world that insists on ignoring the invisible. Pisces often carries emotional fatigue not because of what they live, but because of what they perceive and cannot explain. They see layers of reality that others ignore. They feel truths that others hide. And many times, they try to protect the people around them from what they themselves already know. That's why having a Pisces by your side is like having an emotional and spiritual radar in your life. They might not always be able to tell you exactly what's wrong, but when they say, "This doesn't feel right," listen. When they say, "I don't trust that person," believe them. They might not have proof, but their soul has already understood what logic will take months or years to catch up with. Pisces doesn't need all the pieces to see the whole puzzle. They sense the pattern. They feel the movement. They recognize the ending, even before the story begins. And that, my friend, is not fantasy. It's a gift, a sacred one. And if you're a Pisces, don't silence this perception. Don't try to rationalize it away. Embrace it. Trust it. Because what you feel, what you see, can be exactly what someone else needs to be saved. You're not imagining too much. You're perceiving what others were not trained to see. And in the next gift, we'll dive into a dimension that blends art, emotion, and creation. Because Pisces is not just intuition. Pisces is creation itself. Third powerful gift. Pisces channels beauty and emotion into everything they touch, often healing others through it. Have you ever met someone whose voice feels like music, whose words seem to wrap around your heart, or whose mere presence turns the ordinary into something magical? That's what happens when you're in the presence of a Pisces who has tapped into their third gift, the ability to channel beauty and emotion into everything they touch. Pisces doesn't just feel deeply, they express those feelings in ways that elevate the soul. Whether through art, music, writing, cooking, gestures of care, or even the way they decorate a room, Pisces creates emotional experiences that resonate far beyond the surface. It's not about talent, it's about transmission. They are vessels of inspiration, often without even trying. When a Pisces paints, sings, speaks, or even chooses colors and textures, they are not just making choices. They are transmitting frequency, emotions, energy, healing. They often don't realize that what they do affects others on a deep, almost cellular level. But it does. Because Pisces doesn't create from ego. They create from empathy, from longing, from love. That's why so many people feel safe, inspired, or inexplicably moved when they're near a Pisces. There's something poetic in their existence. Even when they're quiet, even when they're just watching the world, they're dreaming. And their dreams have the strange power of softening what's hard, illuminating what's dark, making the invisible feel tangible. This gift often manifests early in life. Pisces children tend to draw, imagine, sing, or write stories that reveal emotional depth far beyond their years. They may not always be praised for it. Sometimes they're misunderstood, told they're too dreamy, too sensitive, or living in a fantasy. But what's actually happening is that their soul is trying to express itself in the only way it knows how, through beauty. And beauty for Pisces is never superficial. It is emotional, symbolic, sacred. A Pisces might spend hours choosing the perfect word, the right melody, or the softest way to say something, because they know, even if only unconsciously, that beauty is healing, that it softens defenses, that it opens hearts. Even in their relationships, Pisces brings this gift. They write long messages. They remember small details. They prepare surprise gestures that no one else would think of. They say, "I love you," with actions that speak louder than words. For them, love is not a duty, it's an art, and they offer it as such. Many people don't realize how healing these gestures can be. But when you've been touched by Pisces, when you've received one of these poetic offerings, be it a song, a story, a gaze, or a silence full of presence, you never forget it. It stays with you. Because it wasn't just an action, it was a gift, a portal, a balm. And for Pisces, this gift often comes with a bittersweet sensation. The feeling that no one sees the depth of what they're giving. That people enjoy the beauty, but don't realize how much of themselves they've poured into it. This can lead Pisces to feel unappreciated, or even invisible. But the truth is, their impact is greater than they'll ever know. So if you're a Pisces, please understand this. Your creativity is not extra, it's medicine. Your softness is not weakness, it's your channel. And your sensitivity, when expressed through beauty, has the power to heal more than any logic ever could. Keep writing, keep dreaming, keep creating. Because your expression carries frequencies that this world desperately needs. And next, we'll explore a gift that surprises even Pisces themselves, because it doesn't come from emotion or from dreams, but from silent, unshakable strength. Fourth powerful gift. Pisces carries silent resilience that supports others in their darkest moments. It's easy to mistake Pisces for fragile. After all, they cry easily, speak softly, and often seem emotionally overwhelmed. But don't be fooled. Behind that emotional openness lies one of the strongest inner structures in the zodiac. And the fourth powerful gift that Pisces offers to the world is precisely this: a silent, unshakable resilience that becomes a lifeline for those who are falling apart. Pisces doesn't run from suffering. They sit with it. They hold space for it. While others get uncomfortable, try to fix, deny, or escape pain, Pisces stays. They are not intimidated by tears, by silence, by heartbreak. On the contrary, it's as if their soul was designed to withstand emotional hurricanes, not by fighting them, but by understanding their language. When someone is at their lowest, it's often the Pisces who stays by their side. Not with grand speeches or logical solutions, but with presence, with gentleness, with patience. And that alone is revolutionary. Because sometimes what saves a person isn't advice. It's the silent confirmation that they are not alone, that someone is willing to sit in the darkness with them, without judgment. Pisces does that, naturally, instinctively, lovingly. And here's the paradox. While Pisces often appears emotionally fragile, they endure far more than most people realize. They carry their own emotional burdens, absorb those of others, and still manage to offer support. How? Because their strength doesn't come from control. It comes from surrender, from compassion, from the deep belief that love, when real, can hold anything. This kind of strength doesn't shout. It doesn't need to be acknowledged. Pisces doesn't act to be seen. They act because they feel, because they care, because they can't not care. And this makes them, ironically, the strongest person in the room, especially when everything falls apart. There are countless stories of Pisces being the one friend who shows up at 2 a.m., the sibling who checks in even when they're struggling, the partner who forgives what others wouldn't, the colleague who notices when someone is not okay. And most of the time, they do all this without ever asking for recognition. But make no mistake, just because Pisces doesn't demand praise doesn't mean they don't deserve it. Their resilience is not passive. It's not weak. It's rooted in a soul that has already faced many lifetimes of emotional complexity and still chooses love, still chooses presence, still chooses to be there. And it's precisely in the moments when no one else knows what to say or do that Pisces becomes indispensable, because their energy calms, their presence soothes, their silence speaks. If you're a Pisces and you've wondered why people turn to you in times of crisis, this is why. You have something that no training or book can teach. A strength that doesn't impose, but sustains. A force that doesn't control, but embraces. And that kind of presence is becoming more and more rare in today's world. So please remember, your softness is not your weakness. It is your resilience in motion. And your willingness to feel everything is not a flaw. It's a superpower. And in the final gift we'll explore, you'll see how Pisces, even when silent and unnoticed, awakens transformation in everyone around them. Because some powers are so deep, they only work in the invisible. Fifth, powerful gift. Pisces awakens transformation in others just by being who they are. Some people lead by speaking loudly. Others influence through action, through intellect, through charisma. But Pisces transforms by simply being, without needing to convince, without needing to impose. Just their presence, their essence, their energy can awaken change in those around them. And that, perhaps, is the most mysterious and powerful gift of all. Pisces does not live life through logic alone. They move through the world guided by a frequency that others may not understand, but deeply feel. They inspire, not because they try to be inspiring, but because they are in alignment with something larger, deeper, more soulful. Their very way of existing questions everything society tells us to be: rigid, productive, armored, detached. Pisces walks the opposite path. They show that it's okay to feel, that it's okay to doubt, that vulnerability is not shameful, but sacred. And by daring to live this way, even silently, Pisces creates an energetic permission for others to do the same. You've probably seen this before. Someone meets a Pisces and, after a few interactions, starts to open up more, reflect more, question their life choices, cry after years of emotional repression, dream again. That's the Pisces effect. A soul that doesn't force anything, but ends up shifting everything. And this isn't magic, it's presence. Pisces carries a frequency of unconditional acceptance. They don't need you to be perfect. They don't need you to have all the answers. They don't need you to explain yourself. They just need you to be. And in this space of emotional safety, transformation begins. Many Pisces don't even realize they have this effect. They think they're just being themselves. But that's exactly the point. Their authentic presence becomes a mirror, a catalyst, a moment of truth for those who forgot how to feel, how to hope, how to believe in something beyond the visible. This is why being close to Pisces often feels like therapy, even if no deep conversation happens. Their energy whispers to your soul, reminding it of forgotten truths, of your essence, of your softness, of your right to be more than a machine. And let's not forget, this gift doesn't require noise. Pisces doesn't need to stand on a stage or post motivational quotes. Their quiet strength, their silent compassion, their poetic way of being, it's enough. It's more than enough. But here's the catch. Because this gift is invisible, many Pisces never receive acknowledgement for it. They don't realize the changes they triggered in others. They walk through life thinking they didn't do much, when in reality they helped someone return to themselves. If you're a Pisces, you must hear this. Just by existing, you're already healing, already transforming, already shifting the frequency of the world around you. You don't need to be louder, you don't need to prove anything, you only need to be you. And if you love a Pisces, don't underestimate what their presence is doing in your life. Look closely. You may discover that many of your recent changes, your awakenings, your inner softening, started with them. Not because they told you to change, but because they made you feel safe enough to do so. In the next part, we'll wrap up everything we've discovered with a powerful conclusion that will leave you seeing Pisces, and perhaps yourself, in a whole new way. Conclusion: Pisces doesn't just live, they leave light wherever they go. Now that you've discovered the 5 powerful gifts that Pisces carries, many of them silently, instinctively, and even unknowingly, you may never look at this sign the same way again. Because behind the dreamy eyes, the gentle voice, the poetic presence, lies a force capable of healing, transforming, awakening, and loving in a way that defies explanation. Pisces doesn't need to fight to be noticed. Their essence speaks before their words do. Their energy reaches people even when they're quiet. Their intuition opens doors no logic could ever access. And their love, their love, is the kind that stays. That marks, that changes. Being loved by a Pisces is like being wrapped in a blanket made of stars. It's soft, it's infinite, and it doesn't ask anything in return, except that you be real, that you feel, that you allow yourself to be exactly who you are. And if you are a Pisces, take a deep breath. This video wasn't made to inflate your ego, but to remind you of what you may have forgotten. You are not too sensitive. You are not too much. You are not weak. You are rare. And the world needs more people like you, not less. The way you absorb emotions, sense what's hidden, create beauty from pain, stand by others in silence, and transform lives without asking for credit, all of that is sacred. It may go unnoticed by the fast-paced, noisy, superficial world, but to those who have truly been touched by your presence, you are unforgettable. You don't need to do more. You don't need to be louder. You just need to keep being who you are, because who you are is already changing lives. So, after watching this video, maybe you'll feel a little more proud of your path. Maybe you'll treat yourself with more gentleness. Maybe you'll finally understand why people seek you out when they're lost, why strangers confide in you, why your silence is so comforting. Maybe you'll finally recognize your own magic. And if you're lucky enough to have a Pisces in your life, don't wait until they disappear to realize what they mean to you. Let them know. Appreciate the quiet ways they show love. Protect their softness, encourage their dreams, and above all, stay close. Because Pisces isn't just another sign, Pisces is a blessing, a rare soul that doesn't just pass through this world, but leaves light wherever they go. Do you agree? Drop us a line below.